All right, guys, we have one more bit of movie news to talk about, and that comes in the form of one of my favorite television shows of all time, Stranger Things. Um, I mean, it's no secret that Stranger Things is one of my favorite shows of all time. Frasier is number one. I would say The Twilight Zone is number two, and Stranger Things is firmly in the three spot. I cannot love this show anymore if I tried. But as is the case with every production happening right now, season four, the production for season four of Stranger Things has been delayed a little bit. I know, breaking news, right? But here's the thing. One of the executive producers here, let me bring this up in the article itself as we scroll down. One of the executive producers on Stranger Things, Sean Levy, had this to say about it. He said, I'll just say the pandemic definitely massively delayed shooting, and therefore the launch of our current season 4, date still to be determined. But it impacted very positively by allowing the Duffer Brothers, for the first time ever, to write the entire season before we shoot it, and to have time to rewrite in a way that rarely had been, excuse me, I'm tripping all over my words. I give them to rewrite in a way that they rarely had before, so the quality of these screenplays are exceptional, maybe better than ever. This is executive producer Sean Levy. This sounds absolutely incredible, but it also comes with a caveat, you know? Breaking news! Executive producer of a certain show says, they're positioned to be even better. Like, this is going to be the greatest thing that you have ever seen. So part of that is just kind of, it's a little bit of a no-brainer. Like, well, of course he's going to say that. Like, what else is he going to say? But it also raises a really interesting point. For the first time since season 1, the Duffer Brothers have had the time to finish writing their scripts and then go back and rewrite where rewrites need to be made. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that Stranger Things season 1, 2, and 3 are perfect from start to finish. In season 2, I have a massive problem with, was it episode 7, I think? Season 2, episode 7, I'm not going to spoil it. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It goes off on a side adventure that has nothing to do with, basically, has nothing to do with the rest of the show. I had a huge problem with that. I love everything else that they've done. Everything else. Almost without exception. But yeah, I mean, words like this kind of get me a little bit excited. Jonathan, do I have reason to be excited about this? Are you excited about this? And what do you think this means for the future of Stranger Things?
I think you definitely have a lot of reason to be excited about this. I actually think that it kind of reminds me, there's like this famous story that you hear a lot from musicians. They have their entire lifetime to make their first album, and then they have 6 months to make their second one.
Ooh, good point.
And and then by the time they get to their third or fourth, they've sort of tapped out, and that's when you do your live version of your songs, and then maybe you come out with the album that's not like the rest, and then you have your greatest hits, and you're done. Uh, as such, I think there's something about that once that first season was such a huge hit, they've sort of been on a treadmill since then, just getting this stuff out there. And I actually think that this much time will really help them really figure out where they want to go with this, the characters, the storyline, and really find a reason for to justify in a great way everything that's happened. Because for me, I kind of felt I would have been happy with season 3 being the end, with the with 11 moving away, with the family and the family moving away, and then they had the post credit teaser in which the sheriff was looks like he's still alive in Russia, and it was like, darn it, that means you have to come back because like I loved all 3 seasons, and I felt like it really her driving away really sort of reached the end of it. Like it told that story, completed its arc. So now you're on a new arc, and hopefully, then this extra time they'll be able to come up with the Duffer Brothers will be able to come up with a really good storyline that is the new arc of everything, as opposed to we're just doing more because we are getting paid to do more, so we're going to keep doing more, and then Stranger Things jumps the shark. I think that this allows them the opportunity to not jump the shark and maybe have a fourth, fifth, and sixth season that will sort of be the equivalent of its second arc. So yeah, I think I mean plot arc, story arc, character arc, and also you get to readdress the characters because now the actors themselves are 2 years older, and they're now all in the age of puberty because they're all
Yeah.
teenagers. So you get to really sort of look at them in a different way than looking at them as, hey, those are those cute, spunky kids that we love so much. Also, it allows them to come up with a better answer as to uh, what the upside down is, what the demons are, the Demogorgon, and really figure out what all of this is and means and how it
Well,
goes. What do you think?
I know that this is the last season for Stranger Things. Like they've been Netflix and the Duffer Brothers have been pretty open about saying like this is going to be their last hurrah. I think, to your point as well, like we definitely need some answers as to what is the upside down? What is it? Like how did that come to be? Or maybe not even how did that come to be, but like what is this parallel dimension? Like why does this exist, and what are these creatures, and why are these creatures, right? Why do they do what they do? But yes, the same thing with your point about the kids growing up. We kind of get to same thing with the Harry Potter series. It starts off with this cutesy, oh hey, here's this kid who finds himself in a world of magic. Isn't that fun? And then as the movies progress, as they go on, come to find out like these stories get pretty dark. So yes, with the aging of its cast, you can start doing some new interesting things. And they were supposed to go into production a year ago, or not quite a year ago, but they were supposed to have pretty much finished production by this point, and now they're only starting production for season 4. So I definitely think that they know where this wanted to go, but having this extra time, this extra COVID time, to rewrite your script and to really focus on how this is all going to culminate in the way that the best version that it could be. I don't see this as any other way but good. I mean, like I was saying before, like what else is Sean Levy supposed to say? Like, hey, they've had more time to work on the script, so this is going to be even better than you thought. Well, yeah. I mean, like what do you expect him to say? But I also believe that there is a lot of truth in that. They are going to have more time to flesh out these characters, and to make things a little bit more sense and trim the fat where the fat needs to be trimmed. Like I was talking about season 2, episode 7. I hated that episode. It had nothing to do. It was an entire waste of an episode. It was a whole different story. It was a whole different program and idea that we didn't need to go down that road. And to your point of, season 3 kind of ending, with the family driving off to, was it Chicago? I think they moved.
Yeah,
Yeah, driving off to Chicago and, kind of closing things up. It ended in a dark way. Like, even if they didn't have that end tag of, Hopper, being in some Russian prison or whatever, even if it didn't end with that tag, it still, for me, left a feeling of there's still unfinished business. I still felt like there was unfinished business. And it had nothing to do with the tags, or the setting up for whatever the next season was going to be. But I love the idea of more, and I wish that we were going to get a season 5 and a season 6. I love this show so much, but again, I think there's beauty in keeping it small and compact and saying, nope, we're going to tell the story that we want to tell. Like, everybody loves Breaking Bad so much, but it was perfect. It was 5 seasons. Keep it at 5, end it. The story you want to tell. Don't drag it out. And I think that's a killer for a lot of shows. I was huge into the Arrowverse. Oh, go ahead.
Here's my prediction. I think you're right. There will not be a fifth and sixth season, but I think that there will be the setup for a movie.
Interesting.
Because they'll have something at the end there that they can turn into its own movie.
Do you think the movie is, like, if they end up doing that, do you think that the movie would be the end of the story? or do you think it will be an add-on adventure?
It depends on how much money it makes.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Jonathan, before we move on, last thoughts about Stranger Things.
I really enjoy Stranger Things, just like everybody else. And I had a chance to run into the. I'm so bad with names, but I had a chance to run into the guy who plays the kid with the hair, the gorgeous
Finn
hair, the
Wolfhard?
not the no, he's got great hair. Yes, the one who became buddies with the chubby kid in
Oh,
season 3.
yes, him. He did all the there was like a whole bunch of like commercials that he did like for Verizon or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because he's originally and he trained at the DePaul Theater School, and a buddy of mine was his improv teacher,
Oh,
and so
perfect.
we run into him one day when I was we were both having food at the same Mexican restaurant, and I knew that it was him. I went up and talked to him, introduced myself to him by saying, Nick John taught you, because and so we talked about Nick John, and I just talked to him like I do any other sort of celebrity that I know or met or am acquainted with, which is mainly to treat them like a person rather than like a star. And it was a really good conversation, and it was clear how excited he was about doing the work that he was doing with Stranger Things, and that was really good to see and good to know, because sometimes you love a show and then you find out later on, oh my God, it was a nightmare to work on. But it's great to know that everybody who's working on that show really loves working on that show, and I think that comes across, and I think that that's going to be part of why I trust the Duffer Brothers to really get the most out of this fourth season and end it well if they're going to end it, or set it up well if they're going to have a movie.
I agree. And I love what you said about like having the opportunity to meet the actor who plays Dustin. It just came to mind.
Yes.
I had a very similar experience with Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, from the band NSYNC. We went to we came from the same hometown, and so we had the same music teachers growing up. So when I had an opportunity to meet him, I'm like, hey, do you know this dude? He's like, hang on a second, who are you, and how do you know this guy from my past? So it was a really fun connection. But yeah, when you have that opportunity just to meet someone who's in the public eye, and you get to connect on a human level, as opposed to you're up here and I'm down here, and oh, you're wonderful. Like, it definitely humanizes people. From their perspective as well, and definitely helps. So if anybody out there is watching this and you have a chance to meet a celebrity, be cool. Don't be weird about it. Anyway, guys, question for you is, how excited are you for Stranger Things season 4? What are your thoughts and theories? Is there anything specific? Do you think like the story's going to go in a certain direction? Do you think that they should have ended it at season 3, or are you like me and you just want more? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Scrooge McDuck would want you to do. DuckTales, woo!